Now on CoastTV News.
Tariffs on toys, why some parents are worried about Christmas in April.
And we had ourselves a spectacular Friday on Delmarva with mostly sunny skies. Temperatures are in the 70s, but I'm tracking even warmer air building in to start our Easter weekend. It's going to feel downright summer-like tomorrow, as well as your Easter Sunday forecast. That's all straight ahead.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Tariffs hurting gifts like these. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf. Welcome to our News at 5. We begin tonight with continued coverage on tariffs and their effects here on the coast. We have shown you how tariffs are hurting everything from candy to countertops and electronics, and today we are talking toys. Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken spoke with one store that says they were actually planning for this.
Misha Cosetto owns several businesses in Sussex County. She stocked up when tariffs went into effect.
We took very heavy in early this year, just to be prepared and to be covered. But I'm also finding a lot of my vendors, since I pre-ordered, I did almost all my buying for the whole year in January. A lot of them are backing and holding their prices. They're eating the differences.
But still, Seto says she can't predict the long-term future.
In my gift shops, everything, all my stuff. I mean, there's not a lot made in the USA anymore. Cost of labor and different things, and it does affect all that here.
And not just gifts, but more than 75% of toys come from China, according to U.S. Commerce Department data. For parents like Kristen Angelucci, she says tariffs are scary.
I've already started to think about Christmas, and what are we going to do if the thing she wants most for Christmas is something that is 4 times what it would have been last year.
And she says it's tough to plan ahead.
The tricky thing as a parent is you can't get out of the way buying your kid what they're going to want 6 months or a year from now, because they don't know.
As toys like kites rise, so do concerns for some on the coast.
That was Emma Aiken reporting. And another interesting thing that the owner mentioned to Emma, she says customers are actually starting to ask more questions about her products, whether at her clothing store, and those customers specifically are wondering where things come from. She says some customers no longer want to buy products that were made in China. In related news, the U.S. is planning to impose new port fees on Chinese ships. The fees will be charged on all Chinese-built and owned ships docking in U.S. ports, with amounts based on net weight or goods carried on board. They'll begin in about 6 months and will be rolled out in phases. China says the plan will raise global shipping costs and create inflation pressures on the U.S., harming American consumers and businesses. This brings us to tonight's Coast TV poll. We want to know, how would higher toy prices affect you? Let's take a look at the results so far. 70% say no big impact. 21% say they would buy fewer toys. 7% would shop secondhand, and 2% would switch to tech. If you haven't voted yet, this is the first time we've put this poll out on the air. Please do so. Also leave us a comment, because we would love to get that on the broadcast. You can do all of this on coasttvnews.com or our mobile app. On this holiday weekend, let's go ahead and take a live look outside into Laurel as we check in with our First Alert meteorologist, Chris Mastrobuono, who's in for Paul this evening. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Maddie. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Mother Nature cooperated. If you took an off day today, I'll tell you what, plenty of sunshine out there. And after quite a cold week, I mean, we have seen well below average temperatures here over the last 7 to 14 days. You can see all the blue indicating below average days. The one above average here was back on Monday where we hit 73. Now, we were above average today in the 70s as we look into Laurel here with the few high cirrus clouds. We're at 74. Winds are out of the south at about 12 miles an hour, and we are seeing generally clear skies out there. A bit cooler at the coast. We're at 59 in Rehoboth Beach, 63 Bethany, 56 in Ocean City, but you can see away from the coast, 75 in Seaford and 71 in Delmar. You can see those clear skies, that white you see there in the bay, that is a marine statement that's up through 7. You could see some gale force winds up to 35 miles an hour, but we are going to stay rain-free not only for tonight, not only for Saturday, but right through our Easter Sunday. That front back off to the west, we don't have to worry about that until Sunday night into Monday. Now, as far as temperatures are concerned, we fall to 64 by around 9. A warm front's going to be lifting through. Note the southwest winds. Most of Delmarva is going to likely stay above 60 degrees as we go into the overnight. So our Easter weekend, well, it's shaping up to be quite summer-like to start. We're going to have temperatures in the lower to mid 80s away from the coast. Now at the coast, we're going to generally see upper 70s to lower 80s. Easter Sunday itself, we'll see a bit more cloud cover roll in, but overall we stay dry, a bit cooler, but still above that average high of 67 degrees. We're going to see those temperatures in the lower to mid 70s. Coming up, we'll talk more about the rest of your, as well as when we may see some rain chances roll back in.
All right, thank you, Chris. Well, we're taking you down to Florida now, where witnesses recount terror and disbelief during a deadly shooting rampage at Florida State University. 2 people are dead, at least 5 others were wounded in a mass shooting at Florida State University Thursday afternoon. Hospital officials say all are expected to make a full recovery. Authorities say the suspect is an FSU student and the son of a sheriff's deputy. When he was arrested, he was carrying a handgun that used to be her service weapon.
I think it's just very sad that he would do that to a school, let alone do that to his mom, knowing that that's her job and what she works for is to keep people, especially students, safe.
Students were back on campus today. They were allowed to get their belongings left behind during the shooting. Tonight, the White House continues to insist a Salvadorian immigrant who is living in Maryland is not coming back to the U.S. The Justice Department says Kilmar Abrego Garcia was mistakenly deported to a prison in El Salvador. Thursday night, Maryland Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen had a surprise meeting with the man at the center of the policy and politics firestorm. His wife overjoyed to see new images of him.
The most important thing for me, my children, his mom, his brother, his sibling, was to see him alive, and we saw him alive.
The Trump administration maintains the matter is out of their hands. However, a federal court Thursday ordered the White House to take all steps to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return. There is a scam making its way around. You've likely gotten a message about an overdue toll payment or an Easy Pass final reminder. Don't fall for these messages. Lee Waldman shows us how they are one of the latest attempts to take your personal information.
It's deceptively simple, the scam, and it's very easy to fall for.
You've likely gotten a few of these messages to your phone recently, alerting you to unpaid tolls or an outstanding Easy Pass balance. These are called smishing scams.
They're looking to steal your personal information, followed by your credit card information, and finally, they will often have a multi-factor authentication bypass.
Ford Merrill, Director of Research and Innovation at Security Alliance, has been following these types of scams since 2023. To protect yourself, he says, pay attention to the sender.
Looking at the sender address, it will often be like a strange number that you don't recognize, or it will be an email address that you don't recognize, even though it's a text message.
Frank Orr, the executive director of the New York State Thruway Authority, agrees, saying legitimate agencies like his will never try to collect payment over text or email.
They will never ask you to pay a bill in this way. You either have an account or you have a formal process to pay your tolls by mail.
His agency is working with New York Governor Kathy Hochul's office to warn the public about these scams, as well as what to do if you fall victim. If you do get one of these messages, Orr says simply delete it.
Red flags should go off right away as to whether this is legitimate and real, and they should not engage if it's somebody by phone. If it's an email or text, they should delete it right away.
In New York, I'm Lee Waldman.
Now, according to the FBI data in 2024, the Internet Crime Complaint Center received more than 60,000 complaints about that unpaid toll scam. If you live in Georgetown, listen to this. The Georgetown Water Department will begin flushing the entire water system Monday, April 21st in Ward 1. You might have discolored water, but this does not affect the safety of the water. The town says if you do see some discolored water, just run the faucets a few minutes and that will clear out the pipes. Chaska, the Andean bear, on the move from the Salisbury Zoo, what the future holds for the zoo's most famous resident.
Well, you're going to need some t-shirts and shorts tomorrow if you have any plans to do some Easter egg hunts tomorrow. 65 around 8 o'clock. Should be our average high for this time of year. We're going to see temperatures rise into the lower to mid 80s. We'll talk more about the rest of your Easter weekend straight ahead.
There's history, holidays, and a whole lot of fun on the calendar this weekend, so stay tuned for your cool things to do.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
There is something in the air this weekend, and it's not just pollen, it's excitement, history, and beach town buzz. Here's Coast TV's Christina DeRobertis with our cool things to do.
Well, it's one of those weekends where there's something happening just about everywhere you look here on Delmarva. So let's start in Dewey Beach, where the annual Egg Scoop kicks off Saturday at 10:45 a.m. There's going to be egg hunts for all ages, yes, even adults, and don't head out too soon because the Dewey Dogs Easter Parade follows right after. In Bethany Beach, it's Bunny Palooza. The annual 5K and walk steps off at 8 a.m. Saturday, raising money for local grants, scholarships, and programs that support neighbors in need. And that's not all the Easter fun this weekend. In Lewis, there's the Easter Bunny Bonanza. It brings egg hunts and a bunny arrival by boat at Canal Front Park Saturday morning. Chincoteague's Easter Decoy and Art Festival returns for its 44th year Friday and Saturday, celebrating local art and tradition. And over in Berlin, a spring celebration Saturday with breakfast, egg hunts, and the Easter Bonnet Parade. Also this weekend, Lewis is getting a jump on celebrating America's 250th birthday. The city kicks things off this weekend with an event honoring Paul Revere's famous midnight ride when he warned the British are coming back in April 1775. You can enjoy a free community bonfire from 4 to 6 Saturday on Savannah Beach. And looking ahead to Monday, you can join Coast TV Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams for a fundraising event at Nicola Pizza. Proceeds will benefit the Walk for Prostate Cancer, plus a 50-50 raffle and a silent auction. For event details, tickets, and more, just head over to coasttv.com and click on Cool Things to Do.
Well, it has been an absolutely spectacular Good Friday on Delmarva as we take a live look into Ocean View, a temperature of 63 there, winds out of the south at about 10 miles an hour, and temperatures only falling to around 60 by around 9, with clouds on the increase as we head into the overnight. But away from the coast, you can see we're running a good 12 degrees warmer than this time yesterday in Salisbury, 12 degrees warmer in Georgetown. We're running about 11 to 13 degrees warmer along the eastern shore, a sign of that milder air filtering in. We're at 63 in Bethany Beach, 58 in Rehoboth, but away from the coast, 73 Milton, 75 in Seaford, and we're holding at 73 in Georgetown. You can see those winds out of the south gusting upwards of 24 Indian River Inlet, 26 in Georgetown, and we're seeing 24-mile-an-hour gusts there in Salisbury. And boy, I'll tell you what, the pollen is high. That tree pollen, the oak, the ash, the birch, running high currently, and we're going to continue to see that high pollen, unfortunately, into the Easter weekend. We have a small craft advisory up through 2 a.m. Sunday from Lewis down to Fenwick Island as we push further through South Ocean City through Chincoteague. That runs through 1 a.m. Sunday as we're going to continue to see those gusty winds through the weekend, and along the bay side that runs through midnight Sunday. Well, we are free of any rain. You can see a few high, thin cirrus clouds filtering through the area. We have a warm front that's going to be lifting through overnight. This front is going to produce some severe weather across the plains, the Tennessee and Ohio River valleys. That front is not going to lift in our area until Sunday. But the good news is we stay dry through Sunday as well with that front even passing. You can see a few showers late Monday and then into Tuesday, but overall a dry stretch of weather. A mild night though on tap. Temperatures falling into the lower 60s with partly to mostly cloudy skies as that warm front lifts through. Summer-like start to your Easter weekend. Temperatures in the 80s, breezy. Easter, as that front passes through, we'll see more in the way of cloud cover, temperatures falling back into the lower to mid 70s. So there's the setup as we go into your Easter weekend. A beautiful warm day, 83 Milford. We'll see 83 in Millsboro, 82 Easton, 81 in Cambridge. Bit cooler there in Crisfield, 75, 83 in Salisbury. So there's the mix of sun and clouds through your Saturday morning and into your Saturday afternoon. You can see those temperatures well in the 80s away from the coast. At the coast, we're looking at temperatures generally in the 70s. There's the front coming through. We'll see more of a northeasterly wind as we go into your Easter Sunday. So there's those winds out of the south tomorrow, gusting upwards of 30 to 35 miles an hour. And there's that shift in wind as the front comes through. We're seeing more of a northeasterly wind, so we'll be a little bit cooler at the coast, but all in all, not a bad Easter Sunday. Partly sunny skies. We're at 74 degrees, so still above average. And there's those rain chances late Monday as that front moves through. We could see that front kind of stall out and keep that shower threat in play through Tuesday. Doesn't look like a lot of rain at this point, but as that front pushes through, we will see drier conditions into Wednesday and Thursday. So your Paul Davis 7-day forecast shows 74 into Sunday, a bit cooler into Monday with more clouds in play, that late shower threat. Earth Day, could see a few showers there, 75, but overall, we keep temperatures in the lower to mid 70s through most of next week and staying pretty dry.
Thank you, Chris. Well, one of the most beloved residents of the Salisbury Zoo is leaving. Chaska, the Andean bear, will soon be headed south to another zoo, this in Louisiana. At her time on the Eastern Shore, she gave birth to 4 bear cubs and was a key part of the zoo's animal family and breeding efforts. But Chaska is 15 and recommended she doesn't have any more kiddos, so zookeepers say time to go retire.
She has had a very prolific family line, not just her, but her sister and mother as well. So they're just hoping for more genetic diversity. So we're saying Chaska's kind of retiring, and she's going to retire down south. And it's a beautiful exhibit down there, and we know she's going to love it.
Chaska has been at the Salisbury Zoo since 2013. Looking ahead, the town of Milton is about to get more colorful. On Monday, paint crews will head to the intersection of Federal and Mulberry Street to paint a crosswalk, kind of like the one you see here on your screen. Installation does depend on the weather, but it is currently set from 9 to 5, and Tuesday crews will be out again for more painting. Tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 8, we got a replay, Parkside at Delmar softball, then the final score at 10:30. And Into the Trenches is back for its 3rd season. This year, we followed the Cape Henlopen Vikings football team fresh off their first state championship appearance in 40 years. DSN takes you to the practice field, inside the locker rooms, and on the sidelines as the team hopes to prove themselves once again amongst the top teams in Delaware Class 3A. Into the Trenches premieres Thursday at 7:30 on DSN and DSN+. Coming up, uncovering history in Cambridge. Super cool story here we have for you next on CoastTV News at 5. In Maryland, history being uncovered in Dorchester County. Take a look at this. After 2 weeks of digging at Harriet Tubman's birthplace, archaeologists discovered an entrance to a cellar from a home where enslaved people lived in the 1800s. Maryland archaeology says the entrance was filled with sweepings from the hearth, along with tobacco pipe fragments, fish bones, and broken dishes. It is almost Easter, and spending is expected to be higher this year, according to a new report. Despite economic uncertainty, shoppers plan to spend $23.6 billion with the B dollars this Easter. That's over $1 billion more than last year. No surprise here, the bulk of the spending is done on candy. Although chocolate eggs might cost you this year, the price of cocoa has been rising for several years due to crop shortages from droughts. Speaking of Easter, if you celebrate, please tune in to our Sunrise Sermons 2025. Services begin at 7 on Coast Country, 9:30 on the Delmarva Sports Network, 10:30 right here on Coast TV. Coming up, high-flying fun in Lewis. A look at this year's annual Kite Festival, next on Coast TV News at 5. This story makes me want to sing Let's Go Fly a Kite from Mary Poppins. I bet you guys know what I'm talking about. It was a beautiful day to fly a kite because families across Delmarva took part in the Great Delaware Kite Festival at Cape Henlopen State Park. It was the 57th year of the event, which actually has been canceled a lot of years recently due to weather, but not today. Someone we spoke with today said they love seeing all the different kites flying in the sky.
There's so many pretty ones, and there's big ones. People hand make them. People just buy them off, and this is their first time, and it's a really fun experience to talk to people and see where they got their kites or how they're flying and all that.
Each year, the festival features competitions for kite flyers in a wide variety of categories.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful out there today. 76 in Dover. It's going to be a warm night. Temperatures falling to around 65 by around 9. 84 to start our Easter weekend. 74 into Sunday with a bit more clouds in play. Carrie Williams of Smyrna, Delaware, you're the winner of our Paul Davis umbrella, and you can get your forecast anytime by dialing the First Alert weather phone. We're at 66 on Monday, 75 into Tuesday. Overall, Maddie, staying pretty dry through next week.
I love it. Thank you, Chris, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5. For more news and local weather, you can download our app. You can also see us later at 6. Have a great evening.